Welcome to ICD's news analysis, The Hindu, dated November 5. November 5 is the birth date of India cricket captain Virat Kohli. So, happy birthday Mr. Virat Kohli. Do well in cricket, do well for India. So, a few students of mine have started telling me good morning my dear Anusri. We shall, I am very sure that you would you are prepared with the Hindu newspaper November 5, you would have read it well. So, I shall contribute with a greater elucidation on what the newspaper said. Thank you all, very good. A lot of students have wishing me good morning, good afternoon everyone. Thank you very much. So, shall we begin? Okay. This is the front page of the Hindu, mostly American election, Biden ahead, John Biden is ahead, but no clear winner yet. That is the news even now. It would take a complete week for American elections results to be announced, it hope so. John Biden has clearly made the lead, but American president has said that he would challenge the election results, and he has asked the election officers to stop counting of votes in pending states. Anyway, American election has always been a drama, and this could be a bigger drama this time thanks to one of the candidates being Donald Trump. So, let us wait for the final results to be announced. Anyway, White House is almost certain to have a new president for the next 4 years. So, popular vote 50.2% for Joe Biden so far, and 48.1 for President Trump, but that does not matter. Popular vote does not matter in American election. What matters is the electoral college votes, which are 538 in number. So, who is going to have that magic figure of 270 is going to win the election. Some of the states counting is just going on. Some of the states are almost about to announce. So, in any particular state, if a candidate gets the majority even by a thinner margin, then the entire electoral votes will go to that candidate. That is American election. So, this time Joe Biden seems to be very close to it. He has secured 263 electoral votes as we discuss now. So, 7 more, 264, so 6 more. So, let us wait for the climax. American election this time has got a lot of peculiarities. More than 100 million Americans voted this time. Generally, American elections people do not go for vote. It is not as a big celebration as that would be the case in India. American election, one of the major defect has been, or deficiency has been, the lack of fervor from the people of America to vote, but this time it is 65%, and more than 100 million people have cast their votes in the American election. And ever since 1992, last time it was in 1992, every American president was given a second term by the American people, but this time the story may be a bit different. So, please closely watch American election. As the biggest democracy in India, we have to closely watch the democratic transition that takes place in the most powerful and rich democracy in the world. Arnab Goswami held in 2018 suicide case. Arnab Goswami is the is associated with the Republic TV. He is the editor of the Republic TV. He was arrested by the Mumbai police. The charge has been section 306 of IPC, abetting suicide. Section 306 of the IPC says that if you directly or indirectly incite anybody from taking his or her life, then that is a crime. This was the case charged against Arnab Goswami. This seems to be grossly unethical, and it shows high-handedness from the police of Maharashtra. Why? Because this particular case in question has already been settled, and it was settled in 2019 by a competent court. Now, if there is any further real fact popped up against Arnab Goswami, then the right method must have been to approach the court, to file a fresh FIR and approach the court, but that did not happen in the case of Arnab Goswami. Anyway, the court has denied permission to the police to get him in police custody, but that is what the court can do at this moment. But the so-called arrest must have taken place only if the person in question, Arnab Goswami and two other people, if there were a chance that they would abscond, or they would try to influence the victims, or the so-called in any way, if they would influence the case, then there is a chance that there is a reason for the arrest. Otherwise, arrest must have been avoided. Anyway, let the law take its course, but it must be construed as political vendetta. So we have to wait and see. Many people may have difference of opinion regarding the Arnab Goswami show, that is a different thing, but here it is a factual case, and how the police would move about, how the court will respond would be the things that independent people would be looking at. Anyway, please follow. Courts for trying lawmakers in public interest. This particular news item has got connection with the recent letter sent by Mohan Reddy, the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, and sent to the Chief Justice of India, in which he charged wrongful interventions by Justice Ramana, the second senior most judge of the Supreme Court, and this has raised all hue and cry in the media. Justice Ramana, he is leading a 3-judge bench of the Supreme Court, and the court said that the court is acting only on behalf of public interest. The case in question is this: should there be a special court to trial MPs and MLAs? So Madras High Court had given a clear verdict that judicial process cannot be accused specific. That is a clear-cut point. It cannot be accused specific, meaning take the case, for example, take the POSCO case. If an MLA or MP has committed an offence under the POSCO Act, then if a new court comes to trial MPs and MLAs alone, then will the POSCO case or the new law will be applicable? So these are the questions that are raised by the Madras High Court, and in its verdict it was clearly said that it cannot be the movement of justice cannot be accused specific. So the court, the Supreme Court is checking the Madras High Court verdict on this. Please read, and we have to closely watch how what the outcome of the court's observations would be. Now it is about Mr. Kamal Nath, the former Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, who was removed as the star campaigner for the Congress party in the recently concluded elections. So the Supreme Court critically said that the Election Commission of India did not have the authority to dictate terms to a political party, and the political parties have the right to choose their own campaigners. The Hindu was not completely following the Chief Justice observation and the court observation rather, because the Election Commission has to function with some kind of a teeth. See, the so called star campaigner has got the right to use helicopters and to move from one constituency to the other, and the expense of the star campaigners will not be accounted on the independent or individual limit of the contestants of that particular the contestant who is contesting from that particular constituency. So it has got certain ramifications. That is what the Hindu says. Okay, let me just focus on one of the comments that has come in today's quiz. It is mentioned CEO of Prasar Bharati's Shashi Shekhar, but it is Shashi S. Vempati. Okay, Vinish, I shall check. Of course, it could be an error from my side. Let me check. Anyway, I am not refuting. Let me check. I shall get to it. Okay, so let us continue. This was one of the beautiful articles that I read in recent times in the Hindu. It was written by Arun Maria. Arun Maria is known for the Learning Factory. His book Learning Factory, how Tatas have made became nation builders. His book is titled the Learning Factory. So he was saying that India has an income crisis. People at the bottom of the pyramid, they do not have money with them. This is one of the major problems. Listen, India started its economic liberalization in 1991, and ever since then the country has been progressing. The GDP has been growing, but is GDP the lone barometer for ensuring economic progress? That may not be the case. GDP may be growing, but along with GDP the inequity is also growing. Rich is becoming richer and poor are becoming poorer. So the income inequality is to be addressed, and what do the modern economists suggest to bridge the income inequality? The article says three things. One, improve or free up the markets. Two, improve productivity, and three, apply technology. So using these three things, all the economic ills can be addressed. This is the general thought of modern economists, but that is strongly refuted in this particular article. Okay, so listen, we shall apply our mind on this particular article. Take the first thing, free up the economy, free up the markets. Take one of the recent decisions by the government. Government has enacted 3 laws. The parliament has enacted 3 laws by which agricultural in agriculture market, the access of corporates are permitted. In India, many states have started legislations against the central law, and farmers are not convinced about the governmental intervention. So if agriculture sector is affected, that will affect the food security of this country. So freeing up of agriculture market and doing away with the minimum support price, which the government has said they will not, but still apprehensions are there. So the decisions have to come from through consensus and not just through the the rooms of the parliament. So, if those sort of discussions do not take up, then it is going to be very difficult. Second is take the case of labor law. Productivity must be increased. Look, if productivity is to be increased, it means that per person productivity, that is what is meant by productivity. So, the labor force has to come down. Look, read it along with some of the labor laws amendment proposed these days. Any company which is having less than 300 employees, then hire and fire can apply, meaning if you want you can hire, if you want you can fire. So, all of a sudden labor force has become irrelevant, at least in the minds of the government, which is really bad. Take the case of Japanese growth. Japan has understood, or from 1970 itself Japan has understood that labor force is the only appreciating asset in any company. All your machineries, buildings, everything is depreciating asset, but the appreciating asset is only the labor force. They are, by the day they are acquiring more and more talent and knowledge. So, no economy can progress without trusting its employees and its workforce. And the third is application of technology. Of course, technology is needed, but technology cannot replace human beings. So, the real capital is going to be the human capital. That is the thrust of this article. So, please read, it is one of the best articles that I read of recent times. Financial capacity of the states is being weakened. Krishna Baragowda is a former minister of Karnataka. So, sorry. So, this was another beautiful article. Listen, the primacy of the states cannot be denied in addressing the problems of the people. We always try to complain the government which is closer to us, not the central government but the state government. For every kind of welfare we depend on the states. So, the states' responsibility cannot be undermined. So, the states require financial resources. But the article says that in the past many years, maybe the article specifically says from 2014 onwards, there has been a clear-cut attempt on the part of the central government to deny the state government financial resources. We know that taxes are divided between the center and the states. Mind you, only tax components are divided between the center and the states, not cess and surcharge. So, the central government is changing many things that would come under the taxes to cess and surcharge, increase in cess, increase in surcharge. Surcharges and cess directly go to the central government's kitty, it doesn't go to, they don't go to the state government's kitty. So, take the case of petroleum, surcharge is there, cess is there, both will go to the central government and the states are deprived of funds. Adding fuel to fire, the GST. GST has been the biggest concession given by the state governments. State governments surrendered their authority to tax on commodities. This was the biggest fiscal surrender by the state governments ever since independence, and to get concurrence of the state governments, the central government had in 2017 promised the state government that for the next 5 years they would completely compensate the state governments for any loss of revenue via GST implementation. But we have just seen that the central government clearly saying that thanks to COVID, thanks to unusual circumstances, we will not be able to give, we will not be able to compensate the state government for any loss of revenue due to GST, even though the central government backtracked from its original decision not to compensate the state government, but it elicited the mindset of the central government. So this was strongly criticized by this article. So this is the essence of the article, that central government is unwilling to provide the state governments financial resources, and the central government, the article rightly suggests some of the adverse comments made by the Finance Commission on the actions of the central government. Finance Commission decides on how to divide the resources between the central government and the state government. So there were a few adverse comments from the Finance Commission also. The latest Finance Commission led by Mr. N.K. Singh said that the compensation that the state ought to give to the central ought to give to the state governments must go beyond the initially fixed 5 years, because states require more funds. So there must be a change in, there ought to be a change in the mindset of the central government, that it is for India to progress, there must be a clear-cut understanding between the central government and the state governments, and the state governments are partners of growth. This must be the attitude of the central government. So let us move further. Okay, so I am moving on to the next one. The government forms panel to review TRP norms. This particular issue has come up because there was a complaint against Mumbai police have lodged a case against Republic TV for manipulating TRP rating, television rating agencies have manipulated and favored Republican TV. So it will have consequences on the ad revenues for TV channels. So Prasar Bharati, yes, I am very yes, Vinesh, you are very correct. It is Shashi Shekhar Vempati. So I apologize for the mistake that I committed. I shall make the amends in my notes. It could be it was a slip on my side, and I am sorry for that. So anyway, so the Prasar Bharati CEO is Shashi Shekhar Vempati. Okay, so listen, he is he is going to head the panel to review the TRP norms. So very important from the point of view of examination. So this new change has come after the Mumbai police investigation, which revealed that a few news channels had tampered with ratings. Okay, so the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, CCEA, node for hydropower project in Himachal Pradesh. It is on the river Satluj, and the name of the project is Luhri Hydropower project. Very important for your examination, at the cost of 810 crore to make a 210 megawatt hydropower project. So it is going to be in the northern part of India, in Himachal Pradesh. We know that in India the northern part is power deficient, while the west is power surplus. So we require more electricity generation plants in the northern part of India. So Luhri hydropower project is on Satluj river, and it is in Himachal Pradesh. This can be a sure bet for your future exams. Plan to raise retirement age in military. Of course, it is only a proposal, and please read this. This was also in the Hindu yesterday. The Department of Military Affairs, headed by Chief of the Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat, has initiated a proposal to increase the retirement age of officers and also cut down the pension of officers opting for premature retirement. So retirement ages of colonel to be increased from 54 to 57. The same is applicable to equivalent ranks of other services. Anyway, let the decisions come. Once it comes, we have to take note of it to score from the point of view of examination. US formally exits Paris Pact on curbing climate change. A very important news. Paris agreement was famous for controlling climate change. We know that climate change is making the globe warmer, and many low-lying areas will get flooded if climate change happens like this. So there must be commitments from international leaders and international community to make policies that would control global warming. But unfortunately, America, criticizing both India and China, said that we would not sign and we will back out from the Paris Agreement. But fortunately, there is a change in government in the United States. Joe Biden has very clearly said that moving away from Paris Agreement will be the first thing that he would try to change. So that is a very positive signal from United States. A change in government will make a change in stand. So the commitment has to come from the biggest economy in the world to save the planet from global warming, to save the planet from climate change. So let us wait whether the new government, what the new government will come out with. State Bank of India's Q2 profit, Q2 means quarter 2. The full financial year is divided into 4 quarters or 2 half years. Quarter 2 profit surges 52% to 4,574 crore. So the biggest bank in India has come out with a very positive note as regards its profit. So hopefully the other banks may also follow suit, and we will believe that these powerful institutions will fuel the economy. GDP will be higher than forecast this year. You see, many institutions, the World Bank, the IMF, the Reserve Bank of India, all these institutions have forecast India's GDP, and all the institutions forecast that India's economy will contract by a substantial percentage. The only difference was in that figure. Reserve Bank of India forecast that it will contract by 9.5%, and the figures proposed by other institutions were higher. But now the government says that GDP will do better. GDP will be higher than forecast this year. That is what the government thinks. Government trusts heavily on the buoyancy in GST collections in September as well as October, but many economists think that the collections in September and October could be because of the pent up demand that was there because of the COVID closed down. So the demand has been pent up for some time, and all of a sudden in September and October, when the economy was at least partially opened up, people started buying more things. So that is the reason why the buoyancy in tax collections. But the reality will soon be there. People don't have money. People at the bottom of the pyramid don't have money. So again, the consumption will come down, and that will have some negative effect on further GST collections. This is the thought process of rival economic pundits. But anyway, let us hope for the best and read the article and get ideas. Of course, this is it for the day. Before I thank you, I would like to tell you that we would come out with live sessions on other topics too, not just the general awareness. It is just a beginning. So we will soon start classes on mathematics, on reasoning, on English. We shall soon start. So I require all the people to participate. One thing that I am a bit nervous about is that whenever we give short examinations to you, the number of participants is very minimum. I would prefer a situation where all of you wholeheartedly attempt. Listen, don't you are correct, okay, yeah, thanks to you sir, you are the reason why I started reading the Hindu. Okay Vinish, point out any further mistakes if at all I would inadvertently commit. It's that will keep myself on the toes. I know that my students are watching me very closely, so it is again making me more responsible. There is nothing wrong in pointing out mistakes. Thank you all. So I request all of you to attempt all the examinations short questions that we give on the feed of our mobile application. Do the questions. See, we are providing you general awareness on the feed. On the feed section we are giving you general awareness, and in the classroom, inside the classroom I am providing you general awareness in 3 forms, through test, through daily, etc., etc., and the different names I am giving. So exams are coming up. We have got probationary officer examination mains, we have got bank clerical examinations coming up, and in 2021 we have got NRI's common eligibility test. So listen, anybody can see up to the wall. The question is, can you see beyond the wall? Anticipate future examinations and prepare hard. So I strongly believe that from today all my students will look forward to examinations or short tests given by us with an avaricious mind, and they will do them. Thank you very much and goodbye.